Hello, my name is Philip Totaro. I'm the founder and CEO of market research firm IntelStor. Welcome to your weekly dose of truth to power. Truth to Power examines data driven insights for the energy sector with a focus on renewables. On this week's episode, we kick off a new series on Truth to Power where we take a deep dive into the future of the renewable energy market globally with the launch of our latest global market forecast. This new analysis provides clarity to the markets where renewable energy technologies are thriving globally. The most important outcome is that renewable energy is now 50% of the power generation mix. Fossil fuels still dominate the overall energy sector when you factor in things like transportation, but there is a segment of the energy sector focused on power generation that is now more than 50% renewable energy for the first time since the start of the Industrial Revolution. This is an enormous milestone for the industry, which achieved it at the end of 2025. Capacity additions across all renewable energy technologies now total 4.89 terawatts globally, with solar PV leading the way, followed by hydropower and then onshore wind. Non-renewable technologies totaled 4.75 terawatts, with coal dominating the fossil market at more than 50.3% of that total. Natural gas comes in at 34.1%, nuclear at 8.5%, and petroleum at 7.1%. Besides this monumental news that renewables have overtaken non-renewables, it's also important to note a few things which led up to this. First, the world went from 25% renewables as part of the power generation mix in the year 2000 to just over 50% in only 25 years. IntelStor is also able to forecast that based on a 2 to 3% growth rate for renewable energy versus non-renewables, the world will eliminate fossil fuels from the power generation mix before 2050 and could even eliminate dependence on nuclear technology for power generation as well. Hydropower began the new millennium with more than 90% of the operational renewable energy power generation capacity globally. Today, hydropower is just over 26% and falling rapidly. Solar PV and onshore wind now combine for just under 65% of the global market. Solar PV leads the world with more than 2 terawatts installed as of the end of 2025. The other exclusive outcome that we have from this IntelStor report is that onshore wind will overtake hydropower as the second largest renewable power generation source by capacity installed in this year, 2026. We'll get into the specific reasons why in later episodes. In the meantime, Europe went from 34% to 78% renewable power generation since the year 2000, but Africa still lags behind the rest of the world at more than 80% fossil fuels, reduced from just under 85% about 25 years ago. So there's still significant room for technology adoption there. The Asia Pacific region still boasts the highest renewable power generation installed capacity with 2.79 terawatts installed, which is 57.27% of the global market. However, despite the progress, the pace of the renewable energy transition is poised to slow in the next few years. Major countries, including the United States of America, have pulled back from ambitious targets for the elimination of fossil fuels in the power generation industry. Feed-in tariffs are also being cut amidst a push for more zero-subsidy auctions for power offtake from renewable power sources. As a result, the IntelStor forecast for renewable energy capacity additions by 2030 has been revised down to 6.73 terawatts from our forecast 5 years ago of 6.99 terawatts. This is due to expected cuts in capacity additions in the USA, plus a lengthening of the timeline for offshore wind energy deployment in both the USA as well as Brazil. Both markets were expected to be major global growth drivers for offshore wind technology, and offshore wind was also expected to see a huge uptick as a result. But both countries are being held back by, in this case of the United States, both business and political ineptitude, and in Brazil, the lack of a policy framework as well as mechanisms for offshore wind power offtake agreements. For those of you who have been subscribing to this analysis since we first released it 5 years ago, you will note that our predictions in 2020 were almost spot on, something we're actually really quite proud of. In fact, the only area where we were off our traditional error band of plus or minus about 10% in terms of capacity or, any other prediction we make, we like to be within 10%. The only area where we were incorrect was an gross underprediction of solar PV growth in China. And not for nothing, but this is one case where we're actually happy to be proven wrong because it's led to a significant technology adoption in a market that desperately needs it. In the meantime, the fossil fuel industry is clearly distraught over the past few years because they see the progress in this energy transition, particularly the growth of solar PV and onshore wind. And the reality is they think they're losing money, and technically that's true if they keep doing what they're doing by fighting the inevitable. As you can see from the data that we've just shared already, the renewable energy train is leaving the proverbial station. I would encourage everyone to get on board, because if you keep ignoring what's happening, you're going to miss out on the most important revolution in any industry since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Philip Totaro, and this has been your weekly dose of truth to power. We will have more to come from this IntelStor exclusive report, The Future of Renewables, next time on Truth to Power. In the meantime, you can follow us on IntelStor's YouTube channel as well as your favorite audio platforms, and visit www.intelstor.com to join more than 250,000 subscribers to our renewable energy data solutions. We're adding subscribers faster than ever, so don't miss out. Register today. A full analysis of the global renewable energy market is available to online subscribers of this new exclusive IntelStor report, The Future of Renewables. And don't forget to register today for the next Wind Summit event in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Visit www.windsummit.org and join hundreds of your industry colleagues to discuss all the latest trends in O&M. We hope to see you there.